Welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Tuesday, September 20th, 2016. Just going to read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. Thank you for your patience with that. And with me being away last week, I was on the road traveling and staying at a hotel where the internet connectivity was really lousy, so I was challenged all week. But anyway, we're back to our videos today, Tuesday. We always start our videos off with a look at the Russell Index, and for that we use the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000, and we step back to look at it on a larger time frame using the 5-year monthly time frame. We were keeping an eye on this blue channel that was important for the Russell through all of 2014. Had this lift up and out in early 15, the subsequent sell-off, and here's where we are right here, right now. Wow. Up and over the upper blue band, we are midway through the month, and this is the candle shaping up so far. We're coming up to this prior area of resistance, so you want to make note of that. But having said that, this market is showing persistent price strength for sure. So I'm going to move it away from the 5-year monthly to the 2-year weekly. And because price is up and over the 8-day EMA, which is our blue line, on both the weekly and the daily chart. So you can see here it is on the weekly chart, up and over the blue. And here is the daily. Let's go into a 9-month daily. So price is just up and over the blue line, but sure enough it is. And we're at this area of support, lifting off that area of support. So we will be putting a chart forward this morning. Futures are in the green. I'm filming this at about 6:45 on Tuesday morning. The futures are starting off in the green. Wednesday, tomorrow's a big day, one that you want to pay attention to. Both the BOJ and the Fed are making announcements that might be market movers, so I would advise caution around anything that you do for sure this week. But with price up and over the 8-day EMA on both the weekly and the daily, I will be putting a chart forward today, and it's going to be an old pick from one that I'm reiterating from a while ago, and that is Google. Let me tell you a little bit more about Google. Most of you know the company. It's Alphabet. It's actually a collection of companies that include Calico, Google Health, Nest. It's into internet connections with fiber. You know, it is the big search engine, Google Capital, Google Ventures, Google everything. Anyway, who doesn't love Google and their products? I certainly do. Anyway, you know what, Chart of the Day Cafe, it's all about finding value. So my first criteria is to find companies and charts that are loaded with value, and Google still is. So let me say that it's a value chart and it's got growth. So those are the two things that I look for first. Value number 1, growth number 2, and when I can find it, a dividend. Google doesn't pay a dividend, but I really wanted to put it forward to you because I think it's at an interesting area and it's got some things coming up that might be worth paying attention to. So it's got value, it's got growth. So the forecasted earnings growth rate going forward is 18%. It's got, I look for certain blends of things, including earnings going forward, a lot of things that Google is fitting my profile of what I personally look for perfectly. So let's get back to the chart. Let's go to the 5-year monthly. I've been doing these videos now for a while, so my first Chart of the Day Cafe video on Google was right here. Keep in mind we're looking at the monthly chart, 5-year monthly. So Google has come up to this area here. It had a strong bar several months ago. It's consolidating in this area. In a minute, I'm going to take you to the seasonality chart. Actually, let's just do it right now. Here we go, Equity Clock. I'm going to include a link to this website because I think it is so awesome. So you can see that at this time of year, Google comes into that seasonal strength, September and October, and has this run. Now, it's no guarantee that it's going to do it again this year, but I just wanted to put that in our thinking as well when we're looking at the Google chart. And again, this is equityclock.com, terrific site. I will include the link with today's video. You just have to click on the show notes below the verbiage on the video for YouTube. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that Google is coming out, it's hinting at a new phone. I will include this link as well. It's pretty cool. The promo for this code, or phone, I should say, is pretty cool. So that may be a growth catalyst and a reason that Google may lift off of this area where it's kind of consolidating. Also worth noting, never been higher than this area. So I call it sky is blue. If it lifts up and over this area, there's no overhead resistance. Emphasis on if. I do not know, right? And this is just my personal homework that I'm sharing with you. I'm not making any recommendations whatsoever. Just when I look at charts and do my homework, I figure it's worth sharing with others. And also as a note, I do not own Google. So when I put these videos out, typically I do not own the stock that I'm profiling. So let's move it away from the 5-year monthly to the 2-year, let's go weekly. Again, where we put our video before, had this strong bar, came in, consolidated, and now it's just floating around this area in a continued strong market. I wouldn't be too surprised at all to see Google start to lift here and make an assertive move up and over this area that has provided some resistance so far. So we're looking at the weekly chart, but you want to note that price is up and over the 8-day EMA on the weekly. And now let's move it to the 9-month daily. And I'm showing it to you today because should we get a strong market move in the next few days, again, tomorrow is a day to be cautious around, and we get the 3 and 8 cross. So I know everyone has their own way of doing things. For me, it's when the pink, which is the 3, crosses over the 8-day EMA. So it looks like it may want to make that cross in this area. Let me blow it up a little bit for you. We look at the 3-month, you can see it consolidating, but a lift up and over might be an interesting area to look at Google. So putting Google forward as my chart of the day cafe pick again today. The other chart that I thought looked interesting, and it's a past chart of the day cafe pick, and I checked the scores on it again this morning, is in. We put this forward on May 31st of this year, right here in this area. It was at this area of support. We're looking at the weekly chart. Let me make it a little declutter the chart, but we put in forward right in this area. It's come up since then, and it looks like it might be consolidating for another move higher. Let me move it away from the weekly chart to the daily chart. Check the scores. So this is where we put it forward, my little green circle. Check the scores on it this morning, and they are still really high and all that I look for. So should IN start to lift up and off this area, it might be worth taking a look at as well. So with that, I will summarize what we want to always keep in mind. We've got a rising market. The blue, the EMA is above price, or below price, I should say, sorry, on the weekly and the daily chart on the IWM. We're profiling Google. Google's in an uptrend. It's got the value scores and the growth scores we look for. It's at an area that might be interesting. They're coming out with their new phone. The sector is rising, the market's rising, and maybe that Google stock will start to rise here too. So I just wanted to kind of summarize and check the boxes as per all the things that we want to look for. And with that, I will leave you. Have a great week, and we'll put another video out on Thursday. Thanks very much.